Hello, my name's Sue Lewis, and I'm going to run you through this lesson, which is aimed at Year 11. It's all about helping you prepare for post 16 options, and we're also going to be helping you to complete something new called the Pathway Planner. More about that later. So, just to give you some sort of framework for thinking about careers, there's 6 things that everybody really needs to do in order to manage their careers, whether you're young or old. And these are the 6 things. And today we're just going to work on 2 of them. One is called See the Big Picture. So this will be an opportunity for you to see how your post-16 choices fit with your future jobs and your future career. And then we're also going to look at Manage Career, where you're going to make a plan and develop a pathway for your future. So this lesson, as I said, is about 50 to 60 minutes. So I'll do an introduction, which will be about 20 minutes. Then you get to go online and use the Career Pilot website to find out things about yourself and your choices. And for the last 10 minutes, we'll complete the Pathway Planner. So what is a career? So a career is your individual journey through your life, your learning and work. So it's going to snake right through your whole life. And within that, a job is something you might do to earn money as part of your career journey, so you can make the choices that you want to make about the things you want in your life. And there's loads of different job sectors you can choose, and we're going to be talking about some of those today. So in terms of your career, if you're in year 11, the big things for you are being able to explore all your options and firm up what you want to do at the end of year 11. And also, of course, to get the best results you can for your GCSEs, your BTECs, or whatever else you might be doing. So today's lesson, we're going to make sure you're registered onto Career Pilot, or you can just sign in if you've used it before. More of that later. We're going to do some activities so you can find out more about yourself. And then you can plot your qualifications on a ladder. I'll show you more about that. And then you can start to think about the options you're interested in and explore them in a range of ways. And finally, we'll finish up by completing the Pathway Planner to see what pathway you're interested in. But just to get you started, we've got a little warm-up activity. So just imagine you have won the lottery. Everybody in your class has won the lottery. And the prize is a holiday in one of these places. So you could choose Barbados, Australia, South Africa, Belgium, or England. So think about which one of those you'd like to choose for your holiday. Hold on a minute though, I've just found out a few more details. In Barbados, you're going to be packing bananas. In Australia, you're going to be sheep shearing. South Africa, it's picking grapes. Belgium, it's testing chocolate. And in England, there's Glastonbury tickets. So now you know a little bit more. Do you want to stick with your choice, or do you want to change your choice? Think which place you want to go to now. Now you have a bit more information. So the reason I did this is to make the point really, it's just like your career. The more information you've got, the better place you are to decide if that thing is for you. So gathering that information is a key part of deciding what you want to do in the future. So I'm going to show you a little bit about how you can actually go about managing your career. So I'm just going to show you this video. It's about 3 minutes long. So I'm just going to get that started now.
Imagine your life in 10 years' time. Are you being driven to work in your electric car? Eating meatless burgers for lunch with robots cleaning your home? Technology is changing jobs. In 10 years, there'll be lots of new jobs, while others will change or simply disappear. You're likely to be in work for 50 years and have at least 10 different jobs by the time you're 42. Seem like a long way off? A happy future starts with some of the decisions you take in the next few years. So to get ready for careers, what should you be doing now? Firstly, know yourself. You are unique. You have likes, dislikes, strengths, qualities, and things you value that are important to you. These things can help you identify a future career. You have skills too, from school, hobbies, work, or volunteering. Imagine you are learning something new, like photography or rock climbing. You will use a range of different skills. Many of these are transferable, skills that you can take from one job to another. Employers love these. The second thing you can do is do stuff. Trying out new stuff makes you feel good about yourself and builds transferable skills. For example, you may or may not pass your driving test first time. It doesn't matter. Learning new things develops transferable skills and increases your ability to bounce back and keep trying. That's called resilience. Skills can lead to part-time jobs, useful cash, and jobs in the future. You can also talk about these skills on job applications and in interviews. So you know what you like and you're good at. You're trying new things and building skills and experiences. What else can you do? The third thing you can do is to make sure you know all your options. Do you know what qualification and grades you need? Will the course or training help you on your journey? Which option would be best for you? And if your plan A looks watertight, always have a plan B and even a plan C just in case. The fourth thing is to make sure you use your supporters. Teachers, family, friends and coaches know you well. They'll help you identify your strengths, skills and interests and help you on your way. If you can, grab a chance to talk to a careers advisor. You'll get individual help with your plan. They're professionally trained and have loads of up-to-date information. They'll listen to you, inspire you and help you create a plan for the future. And there's Career Pilot too. A free website with all the careers information in one place, showing you all your options, including information on jobs, courses and lots more. Use the career tools to find out more about you and save all of this in one place to share with your supporters. So to get ready for careers, what should you be doing now? Know yourself. Do stuff and develop your skills. Make sure you know all your options. Use your supporters. Your future starts now. Get ready.
So hopefully from that you picked up the 4 key things that the video is suggesting that everybody can do right now to manage their careers. Number 1, know yourself, do stuff to build your CV, know all your options and use your supporters. And I'm just going to show you how we're going to do some of those things today. We're going to be using Career Pilot, which you might have used before. The web address is careerpilot.org.uk. And Career Pilot is something you can use from when you're 11 right up until 20. So just to show you around quickly, in the top here we have information about jobs, courses, you can plan your qualifications, there's lots of video stories as well. In this bit, there's 3 stages that we suggest you follow when you make a career decision, and some of that is mentioned in the video. Start with you, explore your options, and then plan your next steps. And there's lots of activities under these 3 stages that we'll look at later. You might have already have a pathway you're interested in, so you could look at that pathway and get information and advice about how to make a good decision about that particular route. One other thing about Career Pilot is that you can get yourself registered, which you do here, or sign in if you've registered previously. Don't set up a second account. Sign in. If you've forgotten your password, just do forgotten password. And the new password is going to be sent to the email address you use to set up your account. So hopefully you can remember that, or maybe your teacher could see that by going into the admin area. Anyway, the reason for registering and then being signed in every time you use Career Pilot is that in addition to accessing the main site, you get access to all our career tools. So this is where you can save the things you're interested in and any quizzes you might do, and that will create a report, which I'll show you a little bit later. So thinking about the future, where are the jobs going to be in the future? Well, we know that certain sectors will grow and some might decline. And these are 4 sectors that we know are going to grow substantially into the future: medical, health, science and care, IT and digital technology, engineering and construction, environmental. So these are 4 areas where there are going to be lots of jobs. So that's something to think about. So this idea of looking where the jobs are is called Understanding Labour Market Information, LMI. And what we would suggest is you try to keep up with what's happening in the world, because that gives you an idea about where the jobs are going to be. But the good news is Career Pilot also has a lot of that information, so it does a lot of that work for you. So in terms of the video, number one was know yourself. We've got a whole section about that. Start with you. And when you open that app, there'll be different activities you can do. And today you can do our job quiz. You can do something called start with a subject or start with your value. And you could do our skills profile. So there's lots of activities there to help you find out more about yourself. So just let me show you quickly how they work. The job quiz, 50 pictures of things you might like to do in work. You can tick as many of those that appeal to you. And then the results will show you what job sectors. So sectors like the big thing, like business, health and social care. There'll be lots of jobs within each sector. It'll show you what sectors seem to offer what you want. And then you can click on the sector and you'll find loads of jobs and you can look in depth at some of those jobs that might be appealing. You could start with a subject, so you might have a subject you're really passionate about, so you can click on that, or you can click on a value, something you feel like is really important to you in your life. And when you click on any of these, if you click on the particular one you're interested in, like computing or I want to prevent climate change, you get lots of ideas of jobs and courses that you could progress on to with that particular passion. You could do the skills profile. This is really worth doing. So what it'll do is ask you what you've done in your life or your learning. So you can tick things like I've kept going with a hobby or sport out of school. For everything you tick, it'll tell you what skills that activity has helped you develop. And when you finish the quiz, it'll put in any skills that your answers show that you've got some experience of using that skill. So in this example, this student had 4 examples from the quiz of things they've done that have helped them develop their speaking skill. But then the idea is you can add your own examples. So you might have anything like babysitting, being in a team, whatever. And every time you put an example in, that'll be added to your skill profile. And they'll be there for later when you come to apply for work experience or jobs or moving on to the sixth form. So there we are, they're all added in. You can also compare your skills to the skills required in a job. If you just type in the name of a job, you'll see what the skills a requirement are for that job, and you'll see your own skills alongside. So you can start to build up the things you need to get nearer to that job. So in terms of the video, I talked about number 2, doing stuff. So obviously for you at the moment, GCSEs, BTECs, your qualifications are really important in year 11. But you might be doing other things too. And we would always say, don't drop the things you're doing out of school because they're really useful for your CV. And they're sometimes the things that show the difference between you and somebody else. So in the video, number 3 was know all your options. So we're going to look at that in a little bit of detail before you get going on Career Pilot. And you can also then start to explore these things through the website. So choosing the options, some of the key things to think about are knowing what your grades are likely to be, especially for English and Maths. Having a grade 4 and above for English and Maths is a bit of a gatekeeper to getting onto some things. So that's worth really working towards if you can. Otherwise, you will have to do it again in whatever thing you progress on to after year 11. The government are keen that everybody gets a grade 4 and above in English and Maths. You also need to think about, how do I like to study? Is it by doing or by academic work, by further study? Because there's different pathways according to what you might like. Remember, some people start what they want to do in the future. They already know a job or a course they want to do, and then they look at what they need to do to get there. But some people do the other way around, where they stick with a subject they love, and maybe they even go on to do that at a degree, and then they look at a job later. And both those routes are fine. Just remember there are lots of different ways of getting to the same future job. So just to show you that, these are the qualifications we have in England. So they start with level 1, they actually go all the way up to level 8. So where you're at the moment is level 1 and 2. So if you've got 5 GCSEs at grade 4 and above, you'd have a level 2 qualification. If it was GCSEs below that, you'd get a level 1. If you're at level 1, then next after year 11, you can look at level 2 qualifications. If you get a level 2, then you can look at level 3 qualifications. And you'll see there's a range, there's different pathways. There's academic, you might know a lot about that, going from GCSEs to A levels. Vocational, which is doing a course that's related to a job area, health and social care, business. Work-based is when you're being trained to do a job actually in the workplace, called an apprenticeship. So you can see there's lots of different things you can choose, and they're all the same level. So level 3, all these things are the same level of qualification going across. Level 4 is the first year degree, and you can see there's other things in the vocational work-based pathway. And then level 6 is where you get a degree from wherever of those routes you might have taken. So let me just give you an example of how you can choose different ways. Lucy is a nurse, Leon is a nurse, but they got there in different ways. So Lucy, she did a GCSEs, got her level 2, and then went on to do a BTEC in health and social care at a college. And then she applied for a degree and did a 3-year nursing course, and that was her route. But Leon did it slightly differently. He did his A levels, and then he went sideways to do an advanced apprenticeship in nursing, associate nursing at a hospital, actually working on the job, learning the job, and he did it all through the apprenticeship route. So for him, he was working quite a lot of time, building up the skills, and then going maybe to college for 20% of his course time. So there's lots of different ways to get to the same place. So just to run you through the vocational pathway, so this is courses related to a job area, so they're quite general, but there's things like BTECs, OCR, but also now quite specific qualifications called T levels, tech levels, that are training you to do a specific job. You could do these at a school if they offer them, but also at a college. So it's always worth checking what your school offer, what the local college might offer. Colleges tend to have a bigger offer for vocational. Some colleges, bear in mind, offer A levels, so you can do those alongside a BTEC or vocational qualification. You can do that in school as well. But be aware that some colleges don't offer A levels or GCSEs, but they all will offer a resit for Maths and English GCSE. Many level 3 qualifications at a college vocational courses require 4 GCSEs at level 4 and above, but they also offer level 2 and level 1. So there's lots of choices at a college about the different vocational courses you can do. And here's a few examples. We've got loads on Career Pilot. So the other thing I wanted to mention specifically is because it's fairly new, is a T level. So these are mainly done through colleges, but some schools have begun to offer them too. And what it's going to do is train you to do a specific job. So you do need to know that that's a job that you're interested in. And the course structure is about 80% will be in the classroom and about 20% will be like a work placement. They are equivalent to 3A levels, so there's quite a lot in them if they're going to be equivalent to 3A levels. And there's all sorts of different options that are coming on board. And you need to check with your local college or your local schools if this is appealing to see what they're actually offering. And then be sure that that's something you want to be trained to do. Now, the other thing you could do is actually get a job where you're being trained. So that means you're in a workplace and the employer is training you to do a job, and that's called an apprenticeship. Because you'll be employed, you will get paid. So this is the minimum you'll get paid, but often employers top that up and you get a bit more. You learn by doing that job. So instead, the T level is about 80% in the classroom, the apprenticeship's the other way around, 80% in the workplace, and then about 20% in a college or learning environment. You do need to find one, like finding a job. We've got a whole section about how to do that on Career Pilot. So there's different ones at different levels. So if you've got a level 1 through your GCSEs, you might go on to a level 2, which would be called an intermediate. Or you might go on to an advanced, which is a level 3. And they also go up to higher and degree level as well. So these are the ones you'd be thinking of after GCSEs. So academic, you probably know quite a lot about this. This is A levels. Most schools and colleges will expect you to have at least a grade 6 in the A level you want to study, but that varies across different schools. So you just have to check what your own school are requiring in terms of grades if your school offers A levels. Some students study 4 subjects, while some study 3, or some start with 4 and then reduce to 3. That's the main way it works. It can be a chance to do a subject that you haven't been able to do at GCSE, like psychology, law, criminology, other things too. And after A levels, you can go on to higher education. There's often a quite traditional route through, and you could do that in a college or a university, or you could go on to an advanced or higher apprenticeship. So those are the three main pathways you get to choose at the end of year 11. So plenty to explore that. One thing we're going to ask you to do early on when we get you going on Career Pilot is to look at the qualification ladder and to start plotting what you think you might get for your GCSEs and then what you might be interested in going on later. So you can just click and then change colour according to what you choose. So you can say, I'm doing this, I'm thinking of this in the future. And that, when you've tagged them, will be added to my qualifications in the career tools. And once you've done that, you can click on it and you can add your actual subjects and put your predicted grades in for each of those subjects. And you could do that in year 11. Then when you go back to Career Pilot in year 12, you can just change that to your actual grades and then put in your next level qualifications. So it's a great place to keep a list of all your qualifications as well. Why do you need to know your grades? Because that can affect your post 16 choices because certain things will require a certain grade profile. But the good news is you've got plenty of time to make your grades even better. So one other thing on the video, we talked about exploring your options. There's a whole section about that on Career Pilot. So we'll give you some time to explore that too. You could look at what your choices are, 16, those pathways I mentioned, and get a bit more detail. You could look at jobs, you could search for courses, apprenticeship vacancies, lots of different ways to get into the information. Just before we get started, I just wanted to mention one more thing about your career tools. So at the top right of just about every page in Career Pilot, there's the option to add, and that means it gets added to your career tools to help you build a report. So in this example is a job. So if I click on that, that will be added into my job sectors. So I'll be able to see what job sectors I've chosen and any jobs I've looked at as well. If I want to change that later, I can. But that is helping you build your report. So we call this tag in the things you're interested in. So don't forget to tag. Okay, so we're ready to get started now. So I've given you an introduction about what we're going to do and how that looks. So this is a summary of what you're going to do now. Number one is you're going to register on Career Pilot if you've never done that before. If you have done that before, you need to sign in. Use forgotten password if you can't remember. Then you can do some activities from Start With You. If you've done them before, then you can do them again because things change as you become older. Or if you haven't done them before, you can just try them out. Then you're going to update your qualifications on my qualifications, like what am I going to get for my GCSEs, what am I to want to do in the future. You can add your subjects as well and your predicted grades if you know them. Then you can explore your choices at 16 through our Explore Your Options section. And you can do that through jobs or looking at apprenticeship vacancies, whatever would be useful to you. So you've actually got 20 minutes to do this. I'll leave this screen up, but if you're the teacher now, you can pause this video so the students have got time to do these activities. Great. So hopefully you had a chance to get registered and explore yourself, explore your choices, and you've got a bit of an idea about what you want to go on to after year 11. Just in terms of the video, just to mention the last thing that was mentioned, everybody does want to support you and help you. So don't be afraid to ask all the people around you, your family, your teachers, careers advisors, you might have one in your school. Career Pilot is there. You can use the site for free until you're 20. So even when you've left school, you can still use Career Pilot. I mentioned that everything you're putting into the career tools creates a report. You can see that in two different ways, through a dashboard, which is like a little summary, or through the full report, which could be quite detailed if you've been doing all those activities. You could download that report, you can share it with your family or share it with the teacher at school as well. Okay, so for the final part of the lesson, hopefully you're still logged in, because what we're going to do now is use something called the Pathway Planner. So the pathway planner is only going to take you about 10 minutes to do it, but here it is on the side in your career tools. So this is an opportunity for you now to think about which of the pathways you are particularly interested in. You can change that all later, but also we'll ask you some questions to see how ready you are for that particular pathway. And the reason we're doing that so that we can give you some help with anything that you might need some additional support with. So it's a great way for us to see how we can support you individually. So first of all, it'll say what pathway you're interested in. Presumably you've got an idea by now. So you could say I'm definite, I'm considering, I'm not doing. And you could choose more than one, but you have to give an answer for each line. If you say you're definite or considering, then you will be asked to do our guidance quiz. So that is going to ask you questions about that particular pathway. So in this example, this student is definite about doing apprenticeships. So do they know what they need to know? Have they done what they need to do? So we're going to ask you those questions. I know the sort of things involved in an apprenticeship. And you can say yes, think so, no. And this is really going to help us to help you. What you'll get at the end is a red, amber, green rating about each of your pathways. So in this example, the student definitely wants to do A levels and they're green. So they obviously know a lot about it and they seem to be really well prepared. But they're also considering apprenticeships and they're red for that. So we could help them to understand all the things about apprenticeship so they're ready for that pathway if they really want to carry on with that. Okay, so you'll get that, and what will happen then is your careers staff will look at that information and then set up a careers guidance session for you, and then that'll be tied in with what you specifically need support with. So don't forget to turn up for that session because it's going to be really important to you. So you've got now about 10 minutes to complete the pathway planner. If you're the teacher now, you can pause this video. There'll just be an opportunity for about 2 minutes at the end to finish off this session. So just factor that into your time. So pause the video now for about 10 minutes. Great, so everybody hopefully did the pathway planner. You got your red, amber, green. Now what will happen is you get invited to come for a careers session. So don't forget to turn up as we said. So just to finish the session, to explain that if you do some more research about your own options and you want to change your answers in the pathway planner, you can just go in and edit them. And it might move then from a red to an amber, but just make sure you have got the information before you make those changes. So just to wrap up, we were talking at the beginning about things we were going to work on to do with these 6 things that everybody in life needs to have in order to manage their career. Today we looked at see the big picture. So hopefully you were able to see how your choices at 16 are going to affect your job opportunities or your future career. And we looked at managed career. We hopefully started to make a plan about the pathway you'd like to do in the future. So hopefully you can tick those off. So well done for your listening today and well done for doing all the activities and good luck with all your future choices.